And it's a very good morning to the Gelding in what we could call a very wet Melbourne and surrounds. Gelding, the weather hasn't been too good the last 24 hours.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning to our listeners. Very, very chilly here in Caulfield South. Professor, the heat are working overtime and a lot of showers around last night. So, yeah, not good at all. So, as you can see, rugged up with the big wind sheeter on. So, here in my office and, yeah, just not a pleasant day, Professor.
No, not a pleasant day at all. And one of the reasons we have gone away from today's Flemington meeting and we'll hop across the border to South Australia.
Oh, well, Group 1 racing, Professor. As we said, we like betting on the best horses going around. So a bit of an off-season meeting at Flemington. Excuse me. Any track that could handle the weather will be Flemington, Professor, but I'm expecting it still to be a soft track out there for our listeners. But, you know, might also be soft over in Adelaide, but some good horses running around. And as we said, the good jockeys have gone over there for the good rides, Professor.
All right. We can't let today go without mentioning Jamie Coe, who rode her 1000th winner at Pakenham, waited till the last race, Bermudez. She's having a great season, Gelding.
Oh, well, Professor, as we've said on this show and also on our Sunday show for a long, long time, not is she a trailblazer for female sports people. It's past that stage now. She's just a good sports person and is Victorian's champion jockey at the moment. And now she's riding with success interstate in all the big races. So congratulations to her. And she's just, as we said, a very, very good jockey. And the fact is, Professor, you know, like we're looking now to pick her tips to see what her good rides are so we can back them and make some money.
Exactly.
You can't give any better compliment than that, can you?
No, you can't. And you're right. She's one of the good jockeys at Morphetville today. All the good jockeys have gone there because of the Group 1 racing, except for Willie Pike, who's riding at Ascot this afternoon.
Yes, W. Pike's at Ascot. And as one of the trainers said last week, when Willie rode flexible, as they said, not one of Willie's better days. But look, we've backed him with great success in the past, Professor. So he's one of our favourites as well.
And one of the Sydney Colts favourites too.
Well, there's a very good judge telling you to follow him. So we hope we're putting our listeners on the right track, Professor, by highlighting these people. And as we go further into racing and that, you see how important they are and the rides and where they put their horses. So, you know, the good jockeys are good jockeys for a reason.
Yes, agreed, Gelding. Okay, so Morphetville, the track's currently a soft 5. They've had 2.5 millimetres of rain over the last 24 hours. The rail's out 4 metres from the 1,800 metre mark to the winning post and then true for the rest of the circuit. What are your two red-hot tips for this afternoon's racing, Gelding?
Well, Professor, I had to go with the best horse racing at Morphetville today in race 8, horse number 2, G-Tra, trained by Gordon Richards and jockey Jay Collett coming down from Sydney to ride it. This is a horse that ran 3rd in the Everest, Professor, the richest sprint race over 1,200 in Sydney, well, you know, probably in the world. And it had to have a little operation just for minor chips on the knees, which isn't good, Professor, but I'm sure Gordon Richards wouldn't be racing it if he didn't think the horse was up to it. So a soft track will certainly help. This is a horse that beat Nature Strip at Flemington in the Lightning. So that's good enough form for me, Professor. And when you're getting around about $3, I just think it's overs. I would have thought without this operation on the knees, this horse would have been $1.70 for $1.60 for this race, and here we are getting $3. So certainly, I think that's the bet of the day, Professor, and one I'll be following. But some other very good horses in there that we've been on: Behemoth, Dirty Work, Veronine, Bo Rosser, Instant Celebrity. Jamie Carr's gone across for. So it won't have its own way, but geez, $3 for me, Professor.
Well, one of our regular viewers, Gelding, Schooner,
yes,
who follows our tips, he's texted in. Obviously, watching the show, says his thoughts about race 8 are horse 9, Instant Celebrity, which you just mentioned, Carr, the jockey, Stokes the trainer. So that's his 2 penneth.
Very good chance, Professor. Schooner, I know you have an occasional one with Schooner. So yes, it's very good, and you're certainly going to get value at $6. But you know, and Instant Celebrity is a horse that we've followed, Professor. But with G-Tray, you're talking another level again. So let's see how it comes out. Racing's a funny thing, Professor.
Yes, it is, Gelding, and you can't eat odds.
No, you can't eat odds, and forms all over the place, a bit like the footy, apart from Melbourne, Professor.
Yeah.
Footy forms all over the shop, apart from Melbourne.
What's your other selection, Gelding?
Other selection, Professor, going race 4, Rubisaki. Gets back Rubisaki, but has a fantastic winning record, Professor. Paddy Payne, only 7 horses in the field. So it and Brooklyn Hustle was the other danger to it, I thought. Would be up there, but hopefully can flash home. Flashed home for 3rd last week in a tougher race. So hopefully it'll be able to take out the Proud Mistakes, Professor. The voice is a bit scratchy today, Professor.
It is, Gelding. It is. Need some replenishment of the fluids, I think.
Oh, no, probably need some sun, Professor.
Oh, well, you might get that next week.
Oh, hopefully. Should there be sun on the Sunshine Coast?
There should. We just hope that there's no lockdowns between now and then.
Oh, we watch the news every night, Professor, with trepidation.
Yes, the beauty of the post-COVID world, my friend.
Yes, true. But we have had our COVID injection, Professor.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
I'll be going along next week, Gelding.
Lovely. And what do you tip, Professor?
All right. First stop for me, Gelding, is race 5, the TAB SA Fillies Classic, over 2,500 metres. I can't go past horse 4, Mimi's Award. Currently showing 550 on the tab. Being ridden by Daniel Stackhouse, trained by the Dabenig Hayes duo. Stackhouse is in career form over his last 50, 14% win rate.
Yep.
Dabenig Hayes over their last 50, 18% win rate. I think the threat is Flexible, being ridden by Damien Oliver for the Blue Army.
Yes.
What I don't like about Flexible, Gelding, is as soon as its race length is increased over 1,400 metres, it has trouble finishing in the first 3.
Yeah, it gets a long way back, Professor, so needs a bit of luck in running. It was a bit stiff last week when it ran 4th in the Oaks. Got held up for a run, but that can happen any time with a back marker, Professor. So I think Mimi's Award, which has won its last 2, and at $5, a beautiful each way bet, Professor. And I think that's very, very good tipping. Very good tipping.
Yeah, 100% place rate. It's had 5 starts for 2 wins and 3 placings, Gelding, so it's never been out of the money, and we're hopeful it'll be the same again today.
a horse in form, a leading trainers, good jockey in form, everything, Professor, just ticking those boxes off. Well done.
And the second tip in the Carbine Club of South Australia, race 9, over 1,200 metres, a benchmark 64. Can't go past Jamie Carr, who's in career form, 26 wins or 26% win rate in her last 50. A trainer we don't hear much of here in Melbourne, Gelding, Peter Hardacre from Mount Gambier. He's training horse 15, Chill with TJ.
What a great name, eh? Chill with TJ.
Sorry, Gelding.
And the reasoning, Professor?
Okay, for our filters, 40% win rate, 40% place rate. Last start winner at Murray Bridge. It's won at this track and it's won over the distance. So it ticks a lot of filters. The threats are Ambi Dazzle and Lady Dunmore. There's been a bit of a jockey switch. Both those horses trained by Phil Stokes. They've put Williams on Ambi Dazzle because Lady Dunmore's gone up 2 kilos in the weights. Lady Dunmore just beat Ambi Dazzle home at the last start, but with the 2 kilos increase, they've put an apprentice, Logan, on that, who's claiming 2. You never know what you're going to get out of an apprentice. And, I think Craig Williams has a lot of rides, but doesn't finish in the winner's circle all that often.
Yes, Professor, a lot of good rides. So he's on, that Craig Williams and Oliver, fantastic jockeys and things like that. But as we've talked about on the show, they're normally getting the choice of the rides in these races, and yet you compare their winning record this year with Jamie Carr, and Jamie Carr's way in front, Professor. So, as you said, a last start winner and a benchmark 64. I'm sure the jockey rode it well last time, but you're certainly going to be better off with Jamie Carr in the saddle, Professor, and drawn well on the inside, so she should have the run of the race. And we just couldn't go with that racing without putting a Jamie Carr ride in our tips, could we?
Exactly. And currently the juicy odds of $7.50 and $2.60 the place, Gelding. So I've jumped all over that.
Well, Professor, that's I like it. I like your tips, Professor. Mine are a bit shorter, but hopefully can get up. And I think you've given 2 fantastic each-way tips, Professor. And the form that we struck last week, hopefully we can continue on.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Three winners from 4 tips last week, Gelding, and the fifth tip was the winner as well. So it was actually 4 from 5.
Yeah, so Professor, probably when we were talking about it, I got a bit confused with what you were looking at in race 5, and I probably gave you the wrong information. When you had a look at it and you told me that number, I looked at the horse and I said, no, the other one's a bit better, but a bit of confusion there, Professor. So
no confusion today, though, Gelding.
Oh, no, look, very. I like our tips today, Professor.
So do I. All right, the Professor's parlay.
Yeah, the very successful Professor's parlay.
I've gone for the NRL and the NBA today. So the horse, agreed horse of the day, or the bet of the day in the horses, Gelding race horse 2, Guy Trash or Guy Trail.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's NRL Magic Round. Gelding, do you know what Magic Round is?
Well, this is fantastic, isn't it? All up in Brisbane, all playing at the Brisbane Stadium.
Yes.
What a very, very good idea, Professor.
Oh, look, if Delegan's love child,
yes,
Peter V'landys, thinks it's a good idea, it must be a good idea.
I'll tell you what, if Peter V'landys met the giraffe, I think that'd be the only person that'd be able to out-talk Peter V'landys.
Yeah, that's probably right, Gelding.
Yeah.
So Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, everyone's the away team except the Broncos, but that didn't help them last night. They got whacked by Schooner's Sea Eagles.
Yeah.
50 to 6, Gelding. 50 to 6.
Unbelievable.
On your own home ground.
And there have been some big scores in rugby the last couple of weeks, Professor.
They have, Gelding. They have.
The Storm against the Rabbitohs, and now, the Sea Eagles, Manly kicking away with, 50 points to 6. That's fantastic.
All right. So we'll parlay Guy Tra into today's 7:45 p.m. game at Suncorp Stadium, the Sydney Roosters to beat the North Queensland Cowboys.
I think that's across the line, Professor.
My reasoning is the Roosters are currently 5th. They've won 6 of 9. They've got a points differential of 120 plus 123. The Cowboys 11th with 4 wins, but a points differential of minus 90. So the third worst in the league, apart from the Broncos and the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have got a minus 188. So
I think you've got this one covered, Professor.
Yeah, you might ask me why I'm not picking against the Bulldogs, given their minus 188 in points differential. Well, they're playing the Canberra Raiders, Gelding, and they let us down last week. So they're probably going to let us down again if we tip them today. So, no, the Sydney Roosters.
Has the pen come out with the cross through the Raiders yet?
Yes, it has.
Beautiful, Professor.
Yeah, so
Mark Bunting.
Roosters currently showing $1.22, Gelding.
That's juicy odds, Professor.
Yeah,
for what should be a nice little win.
Yeah, and then in the NBA, the game starting very shortly, actually, the Denver Nuggets to beat the Detroit Pistons. The Nuggets are currently 4th in the Western Conference. They've won 46 games. They're on a 7-3 win-loss ratio over the last 10. Detroit Pistons, stone motherless last in the East Conference, 15th. Only won 20 games for the season, and over the last 10, they're two wins and 8 losses. So at $1.24, I think the Denver Nuggets show some good value. The parlay overall showing 9-2, Gelding.
Yes, well, that's good, Professor. 4 just under 5-1 for backing the best horse at Morphetville. Certainly in the Roosters, and hopefully the Nuggets will be way too good.
They will, Gelding, that they will. So Sports Fan Radio tomorrow, you unfortunately are scratching. But,
yes, my apologies,
the panel
Professor.
will be there.
Yeah, catching up with Ron and Carol from Port Arlington. So, so unfortunately we'll miss the show. But, very, very good shows as always, Professor. Who will you have on?
We've got the judge, who's getting some sunshine as well. Cooter, Sarah, Paul Daligan and Dan Budley. So a very accomplished panel. Very
good show, Professor.
And plenty to talk about. And Gelding, that's racing next week. You'll be on the road and coming to us from the Sunshine Coast.
Yes, Professor. Hopefully we'll be escaping some of this winter weather, and hopefully the Sunshine Coast will be nice and pleasant. So that's racing this week. Next week, on tour from the Sunshine Coast.
Okay. Well, until then, Gelding, it's good luck.
And good punting.